So Austin Huang, okay, we are officially live. So you are the founder and owner of Another Good Human, right? Which is a streetwear brand
Yep,
that incorporates sustainability.
exactly. That's it.
Now you're still in school, right?
That's correct.
And when did you kind of come up with this brand?
Yeah, definitely. So I think Another Good Human's been something that I've kind of wanted to pursue for a really long time. I just didn't have the time to do so. And so during quarantine, we got kicked off of campus last semester. So I was back at home just kind of thinking, man, like I really need to do something with my life right now because it was kind of that time of like, nobody's doing anything, nothing's getting done. So I was like, this is a probably the best time in my life that I can just sit down and like brainstorm an idea and just think about what I can do to maybe set me up in a different path in the future. And so I came up with the name first. I was like, Another Good Human, like that just came to my mind. I was like, sounds really cool. It sounds like be another good human, do another good human, like all these cool things. And I was like, what can I create from the name? And I was thinking, should I create a YouTube channel? Should I make like positive content, that kind of stuff? And then I was kind of like, nah, I kind of want to go the business route because my dad's a big entrepreneur. And so he's run his own business for the past 20 or so years. So he's kind of instilled in me that kind of passion for business, for starting my own thing. So long story short, I came up with the idea of starting like a streetwear brand because I've been really into sneakers and the culture behind that for the longest time. So uh, I got introduced into the whole streetwear aspect of it, and I thought that sustainable fashion right now is pretty cool, but it's also very new. And so, given that it's new, it's got like very limited options, and the majority of sustainable fashion brands that I've seen so far are more like plain, like brown, white, those kind of T-shirts and stuff. And I was like, we got to try to do something different. And so streetwear was like the first thing that popped into my mind. Is like it's really powerful. There's a community that like really vibes with what you're trying to do whenever you create a streetwear brand. So I was like, this could be good. This could be something revolutionary.
Yeah, when I go on Kickstarter, like for fun, and there's like a lot of projects on like sustainability. They have like metallic straws. They have 100%, I think, cotton sneakers. But like you said, it's not really like fashionable. It's more of like of the message, and
Right.
comfortability. Uh, but when you were starting your business, like your idea, did you always want to tie into sustainability, or you just want to kind of occupy yourself with any idea that you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. So in college over here at UT Austin, I'm a sustainability major. And so all throughout high school, I was trying to find what my passion was. Like, did I want to just be like, make a lot of money, like be a doctor, that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's not really, I don't feel like that's where I'm being called to go to. And then I got really interested in like ocean plastic pollution. That kind of just led me to the idea of like, we're really not taking good care of the earth right now, and sustainability at UT was a really cool program. So like, I think that the start of Another Good Human was always intended to be something that was centered around sustainability. I think that was the key aspect of its foundation.
hmm And but said, just to wrap that up, like you kind of always want to do something with sustainability, right? Because it kind of
Right.
came in the same picture of your as your major at UT, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's always a good way to and because if you have like a passion or if you have like an interest, or you kind of not kill two birds with one stone, but if you're already studying something or have an idea or have like a knowledge in a certain topic, it's good to tie in another idea like that business or the brand that you're doing right now
Hmm.
into what you know about. And I think that'll make life a lot easier. And plus, say down the line you want a job, this can be a really good thing for like your resume as well, because you're kind of creating your own startup around what you're studying too, right?
Exactly.
hmm And you know, clothing brands, one can say it's very, very, very saturated, but of course you can, find different uh, branches. You can still segment your way and find a certain market, right? And, people, they get their clothes, their products through print on demand suppliers, right? And
Mm-hmm.
anyone can get that, but obviously those suppliers they aren't organic, they're not sustainable.
Right.
So I think the most challenging part in what you're trying to do or doing right now is how do you source your products?
Right. Yeah. So honestly, yeah, the idea started because I was watching all these YouTube channels about drop shipping and print on demand, and I was like, oh, this seems so easy. And I mean, that's what it is. It's easy, but at the same time, when you think about it, like you have zero control over your business. All you can do is just put like a design on a
Mm,
t-shirt, and then like you can't touch it, you'll never see it. And to some people, that's like a pretty cool thing. It's like, oh, that's so awesome. Like I never hold inventory, I never have to deal with like customer service, all that stuff. I'm like, and that was my mindset at first. I was like, maybe I should do that. But then I really thought about it. Like I'm trying to create a long-term business here,
mm-hmm.
something that I can take with me after college, not something that I have to drop after like a few months of working on it. Um, so yeah, we've been blessed to kind of like spend these past few months just being able to connect with a bunch of different suppliers, probably like emailed and contacted like over 100 different people just to like figure out who the best one would be for our brand. And so we were finally able to, you know, come up with our supplier for the actual blanks of the t-shirts and blanks of the clothing. So we have a couple of those, and they're both fair trade certified, organic cotton, like the whole deal. It's good for the planet, it's good for people. And so that's kind of our main focus. And then we also take those things and we get them printed, screen printed locally here in Austin, Texas with like eco-friendly water-based inks. So the whole process itself is pretty sustainable. And so I'm really proud to say that.
Mm-hmm. What makes these shirts like completely sustainable? Is it like they're 100% decomposable? Like if you get
Right,
like a
right,
polyester shirt and you leave it out forever, like is it gonna stay? It's not gonna like degrade
right, yeah.
naturally, right? But with what you have, it is, right?
Yeah, so we have 100%. So there's different kind of like materials that are considered sustainable. There's
Mm-hmm.
hemp, bamboo, organic cotton, recycled polyester, all those kinds of things. And they each, I think they each serve their own purpose. And so for us, right, we're kind of focusing on the ethical aspect as well as the sustainable aspect. So our suppliers are able to get us 100% fair trade certified is the first aspect of it. So that means that the workers who make our clothing, the farmers who make the organic cotton are paid fairly.
Okay.
So they're living a good or a better life than they would in just a regular cotton field and all that kind of stuff. And so that's our main aspect. And then the subsequent aspect is the organic cotton. And so because we choose organic cotton, there's plenty of, I could pull up a list of all the good benefits of using organic cotton versus regular cotton. But some include like the less pesticide use on the organic cotton when you're growing them, less water usage. And then, yeah, there's just a bunch. I don't have them all memorized, but yeah, I can pull those up if you want us to take a look at them later though.
For sure. But I feel as a business owner, one of the biggest concerns can be, wow, like this whole process, even though it's what you want to be 100% sustainable. I'm pretty sure the added cost is going to be much, much higher compared to a regular print on demand shirt from say Guten or Printify, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how did you kind of take that into effect? Because I know you can have a specific target audience to market your shirts, but was that a major concern that you guys had? Because I know you have a team behind you as well.
Yeah. So yeah, the cost is definitely one of the bigger issues, and honestly, that's one of the tough spots to like kind of attract a lot of people because, you know, we just can't offer a $5 T-shirt like some of these other brands. You
Mm,
know, it's like it's just impossible for us to do that. But I think at this moment in time, the cost that we have is fairly representative of like what it's worth in a way. And so I think the pricing strategy that we currently use is, you know, it's good. Obviously, it's harder to make more of a profit when you're trying to really focus on sustainable and ethical aspects of the business. Yeah.
mm-hmm. And the things that today, at least nowadays, a lot of brands when they sell their merchandise, they can make tons of profit because the brand itself is what makes the actual, costs go up. For example, you look at Supreme. Their shirts, I don't think they're high quality, but it's just because of the logo that they have that the value of the shirt just goes up, right? And like you said, it's cool because you said that you wanted to have your clothing brand, like it not be a one and done thing for a couple months. You want it for it to be forever, right? And they say building a brand can take like years and years and years. And of course, as you continue along with your business, you kind of build up a brand reputation, you get more recognition, and who knows, like you might extend to other products. You might create hemp shoes, other merch that's 100% sustainable apart from the t-shirts.
Right.
There's definitely a lot of avenues when you think like long term,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Do you guys kind of have a strategy to kind of increase like your brand awareness, kind of have like community sort of events or things alike? Now it's kind of not impossible, but it's more difficult because of COVID, but have you guys ever thought of it?
Yeah, so kind of for the past, I guess, a little over a month now, we've just been trying to produce as much content as we can on whether that be on TikTok or Instagram. But yeah, honestly, we're trying to figure out some new ways that we can kind of differentiate ourselves because if you go on TikTok these days, it's like everybody has their own clothing brand and it's really hard to tell the difference. So I think the main way that we're going to be, unique in this aspect is really pushing that idea of ethical and sustainable streetwear. It's like, and we want to create a community. I think that's the main goal of any streetwear brand is that when you see that brand on a t-shirt, on a hoodie, on anything, it's like, oh, okay, I know the mission behind them. And so I think that's the main thing we want to do. It's kind of hard, like you were saying, because of COVID and everything. There's like not really much we can do locally. We can't really have meetups and stuff. But honestly, when this starts to fade away, I think that would be a great way to keep branching out and getting connected with people in the local Austin area.
Yeah. Have you ever like thought of like more like specific ideas? I don't know, say you go to like a farmer's market and you kind of are a partner with a farmer's market, or you kind of create an event where you guys plant, I don't think they have that here in Connecticut, but I've heard that, you can plant your own tree.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a kind of like a cool idea if you guys haven't thought of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we haven't really thought too much about that, but yeah, I like that idea. Like engaging with the community and showing that kind of support.
Yeah. Because like with talking about streetwear, there's always a history and a culture behind, like say Supreme, it was like what, skateboarding,
Right.
And, just living a free life, young rebellious teenagers doing what they want. And that's what Supreme kind of means. And
Mm-hmm.
every brand needs to have a story, an important story to kind of represent or have a root so people can really understand what they're buying from or why they're buying it in the first place.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, it's going to take definitely going to take a while to grow a brand. And I think just creating a clothing brand alone is really hard. But once you create that community, it definitely adds a different dimension and it's going to be very important going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the insight for that one.
So I know I saw one of your TikTok videos, and you have, it's not just you have a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so what were you saying?
I was going to ask who's on your team.
Yeah, so right now it's, so I've just been working on this. I started this summer. Just been kind of grinding it by myself. But my roommate's just kind of been there to help me like film TikToks and all that kind of stuff. Just for like an extra pair of hands, if you could call it that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's mainly all you.
Mainly, yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty hectic.
So how hard is it? You have to make first and foremost, you have a really nice website. You have to create that, right?
Thank you,
and
man.
You have to like source the products. Like you said you sent 100 emails, called 100 people to menu or to find your shirts. Of course, doing the TikToks, all the social media. There's a lot of things to manage for one person. Did you kind of have a background in, making websites, or did you have experience before, or is it just completely new?
Mm-hmm. So my dad does have a lot of experience in the business side. So he was able to, give me some knowledge and share some information about that. But This is pretty much all new. But honestly, today in today's age, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's easy, but everything is kind of laid out for you. As
Mm-hmm.
long as you're willing to go say, okay, I'm going to go look up on Google, like organic cotton suppliers and all this. Like, as long as you're willing to put in the work to go, okay, this person's not good. I'm going to email this person. I'm going to call this person. Like, I think that as long as you're willing to put in the work, it's gonna be there. You know what I mean? Um, and so it does take a lot of time, and it did take like a few months just to get started on this whole process, finding the best people to supply our shirts, supply our hoodies, supply the actual process of printing them, and then taking the website. I did have a previous website, so I was kind of familiar with it. Getting into Shopify was a little bit new, but yeah, honestly, it's been very rewarding. It has been pretty tough getting started, but I'm really looking forward to how it progresses.
Yeah. When I kind of speak to other entrepreneurs, they, when they're extremely passionate about a certain topic that they're doing, right? They revolve
Mhm.
a business around their passion. They don't worry about what's going to happen in the next 3, 4, 5 months, even 1 year, because they're just happy about the process, right? And they don't worry about making a profit. It's all about, learning and just improving 1% every day until you hit that one inflection point where your business just takes off, right?
Mhm.
Um, Now, how important is that for you? Because you said this is extremely long term. A lot of entrepreneurs nowadays kind of want money right away, and that's the thing with social media is like you see a lot of people showing off and showing how they made money almost instantaneously, and that might be true for a few, but for the most part, I think that a lot of entrepreneurs have to put in a lot of time and effort, especially when they create an actual like brand.
Right.
So, in your opinion, how important is it to just be passionate about a certain topic, making a business around that, and not caring about the short-term like monetization values?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's a really good question because today everybody just like wants to see all these drop shipping videos and like, oh, I know now I can make like $100,000 in a month. Like it's gonna be crazy, but that's just not the real story behind anything. I'm like you were saying, I'm sure there's like several people who have been able to do that, but for the large majority of people, I'm sure they start drop shipping and then they like figure out that it's really hard and then they just stop.
Mm-hmm.
And for something like this, for something like Another Good Human, um, it has to be my passion because I feel like if it wasn't my passion to, create something that was sustainable, something that was ethical, if it was just another t-shirt brand, I probably would have given up by now. Honestly, like if I was just getting these Gildan t-shirts and, getting some like plastic ink and putting it on there, then I feel like I would have given up by this point because it's just too hard to do that kind of stuff, especially when there's no foundation behind it. But I think I've always wanted to create something that would last. I've always wanted to show my creativity in that kind of way, and so combining my love for streetwear and my love for the environment, putting those together has just been really rewarding. And no matter how long it takes, I feel like I'm gonna still stick with it and be by its side as it grows.
For sure. Do you kind of take inspiration of other brands who are aligned with your values in terms of sustainability?
hmm I'd say the biggest one that I take inspiration from is probably Patagonia, because they are just all about they make it so integrated into their system. The whole system is like they've been using organic cotton for the past, I don't know, couple decades, 3 decades or something like that, and it's like they have made it so normalized within their own culture that it's like everything they do is about climate change, is about sustainability. And so I think like they are like probably at the very top of even all sustainable brands, whether that be clothing brands or anything else. They are very much at the top, and I think a lot of people look up to them.
Yeah, it's always good to kind of have. I guess there's two ways to look at it. Say if like you're the very first person doing this, you may not know if this is a market that's going to work out, but because Patagonia is killing it, you can use them as a kind of like a benchmark, and have like more optimism or more have an optimistic mindset to say, hey, like this can really work. I just need to have more time and effort and just wait until the brand grows.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always
Definitely.
important. Yeah, it's always important to have that connection or have something to look up to kind of. So talking about sustainability, I know in terms of your major, I feel like for every major, there's different like sub branches within that major. So can you kind of like tell us what type of sustainability? Because for example, like I studied electrical engineering, but of course there's different segments of it. For example, you can work
Mm-hmm.
in the transmission lines, you can work in microelectronics, you can work in like a whole bunch of sectors like computer hardware engineering. Are there different like kind of branches within your sustainability major?
Yeah, so at UT, there are about like three different tracks. One of them is natural resource management, so that's more of the science aspect. There is sustainable choices in a diverse world, and that's more like the liberal arts kind of area. And then there's another one that is, um, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like more of a combo of the both of them. It's like more the economic aspect
Mm-hmm.
because sustainability is basically three things. It deals with the environment, society, and the economy. And so I think right now I'm kind of pursuing the environment aspect, going into the natural resource management because before starting Another Good Human, I was trying to go down the path of business, director of sustainability, like figuring out all those things like greenhouse gas accounting, all of those things. Um, but I do really appreciate all the other things, all the other aspects of the society and the economy. And so I really don't know which path I'm going to take. It doesn't really truly matter because the majority of classes are going to be the same. And there's just a few extra sciences, few extra, liberal arts
Mm-hmm.
classes that you can take.
So it really depends on which electives you take that kind of tell you which type of sustainability major you're really in, right?
Right.
Okay. So say once you graduate and you're doing well with Another Good Human, do you think that you want to go full time into Another Good Human, or do you kind of want to work on this in parallel with your full time job once you graduate?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd hope that this could become a full-time thing. You never really know the future, but I do really hope that I'm just a sophomore right now, so I have like a couple more years. So I really do hope that by the end of my college career, this is something that I can just jump right into, not have to, do that 9 to 5 job and then work on this on the side because I feel like, already it's been a few months, but it's been like pretty established. Like I think I finally figured out like, how to work everything out in a way. Obviously, when businesses grow, there's plenty of more problems that start coming into the situation. But I do really hope that this can be a full-time thing.
Mm-hmm. And are you seeing any cash flow yet, or are you still kind of setting up everything?
We have almost sold out of our first collection. We're still, we still had to invest into the company. So we're still seeing a little bit of, returns, but now it's starting to get into the second collection that we're releasing this Friday, actually. And so we're kind of just like building that up and figuring out those kind of aspects of it.
Okay. And how do you guys kind of market? Like you said, a bunch of people market their clothing brand on TikTok and they're absolutely killing it.
Mhm.
Is that something that you're really focusing on, or do you have other strategies like influencer marketing, Facebook ads? Like, what do you use to kind of help promote your brand?
Yeah, definitely. So I think one thing that right now we're really trying to do is the TikTok aspect. We're trying to get a few of our friends who are also like pretty big TikTokers to like help us out,
Mm-hmm.
and we're kind of going that route, kind of more the community engagement. And then I think we're going to start getting into the influencer marketing, and then from there getting into the Facebook ads, Instagram ads, because still pretty new to that whole advertisement space, but I've tried it in the past, and I think just a little bit more practice and figuring some stuff out, then I'll probably be able to get into it. But I do know that the Facebook ads and Instagram ads, all that stuff, does take like constant money flowing into the
Yeah.
system. So
Like what's crazy is that like when I speak with a lot of like small business owners, like from TikTok, I think in the very beginning, they kind of relied on Etsy and Instagram, and they're doing okay. But once TikTok hit the scene, their organic reach is just crazy. And when I speak to them now, or when I hear their story, they sell out every time they restock, and it's just crazy because TikTok is this huge platform that people just love using. And the most important part is like not just the product itself, the business itself, but it's the story behind it. And like you said, it's going to be very difficult to kind of, I guess, share or kind of demonstrate how your actual shirts have been made because you're not out there in the farms. You can't really share that whole narrative, but there's other ways to kind of, show your audience like, hey, we're 100% sustainable. We're a sustainable brand, and there's different ways. Maybe once you kind of scale, you can show the back end of how these shirts are made, because when I look at other clothing brands, they have the heat presses. They show like the actual like ways that they're actually manufactured. What is it called? The embroidery. It's always cool to watch, shirts getting embroidered. But as a matter of fact, when you embroider shirts, like, is there a way to have what's that called? Thread. Like, what type of shirts do you have? Do you have embroider or is it always print?
So ours are, for the most part, we are just doing eco-friendly water-based screen printing. So we got a local print shop kind of thing, working out some deals with them. So they're doing our shirts for that.
Oh, so
but for embroidery, I believe he can do that as well. We haven't really had anything to get embroidered yet, but we're definitely looking into that for the future.
Okay, so everything's water-based, and that's done locally?
Yep, exactly.
Is there any way that you can go in there and kind of record like how your shirts are being made?
Yeah. So if COVID wasn't a big thing right now, I think we would be able to do that. But yeah, I think our printer is a little bit wary of COVID, and he doesn't really want us to interact with that. And it's totally understandable though. But sure. Hopefully once this is all over, we can get in some footage of that, because that'd be really good content, I'm sure.
Yeah, and plus I think it'll help that guy out too. It'll be a win-win-win scenario for everyone, because as an audience, we want to see that you'll promote your brand, and then for the guy, he'll get some promotion too, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully, I don't know how it is in Austin, but here in Connecticut, I mean, New York was the hub of like COVID-19 I think it still is. But right now in Connecticut, it's not as bad as it was the first couple of months, like since March. Like, how's it in Austin?
Honestly, it's not too bad. I think, the Texas attitude towards it is still a little bit, rocky. It's like, oh, this isn't even real, that kind of stuff. But I think in Austin, people are a little bit more cautious. So, back home in Houston, it was a lot more people who really didn't care. But yeah, in Austin, I feel like a lot more people do understand that it's a big issue and are kind of wary about that.
So going back to TikTok, you have about like 8,000 followers. That's still like a large number. Do any of your classmates kind of recognize like what you're doing, and do they kind of want to participate in your project, in your business?
Yeah. So, a few of my friends have like reached out and been like, oh my gosh, you're on my FYP and that kind of stuff. And it's a cool feeling, to like get that recognition. But yeah, we've been trying to get like some local friends. Like, I think one main target audience we're trying to hit is like college students. So I have like a lot of friends. Some go to like A&M, some go to some other state schools in Texas. So we've been trying to like kind of spread it that way, kind of spread the word. Hey, my friend is working on this. You guys should go check him out. And so I think that's one way that we've been kind of spreading. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I feel with TikTok, I remember when you went on your For You page, I thought that, it'll be distributed across the whole world, but I think for the most part, it's really localized as well, at least as of lately. So if you really blow up, it's going to be shown across your whole local area first. And that's why so many people can see you. And it is kind of like a cool feeling. But yeah, I mean, it's a good way to kind of promote yourself. And who knows, like a lot of your classmates, professors, maybe even your college might have like an initiative. I think I heard this story. Oh yeah, I was watching a YouTube video yesterday of like how Def Jam kind of was born, and they were actually made in the NYU dormitory, right? And they're doing so well that their actual residency of the building allowed them to like run a business within the building, because they're doing so well and you had all these New York rappers coming in, throwing parties, and it was crazy. The point is, like, because their business started as one guy in his dorm and it was doing so well, the college kind of backed them up, and it was through that they got a lot of recognition and a lot of incentives to kind of continue what they're doing. I think other colleges probably just kicked that guy out because he was creating a ruckus with all these guys coming in, having parties, but he was just promoting his brand at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
So that's always a good way to look at it. If you like, do you kind of have like a huge ambition? Like I said, there's so many products that you can kind of work on, with the shoes, like literally anything that you can make sustainable. Like, as far as like your imagination goes, do you kind of have like one certain product that you kind of wish, say you had the capital, like do you kind of have a product that you want to make that's like completely sustainable?
Ooh, that one's tough. Yeah, there's just so many things that you can make. I think one, even though it may be a little bit small right now, thinking a little small, but I think like shorts and like pants, I think we would love to get into that if we could, like sweat shorts, sweatpants, that kind of stuff, because I think that would really fit the vibe that we're trying to hit. But besides that, yeah, I think shoes, because I've just always been obsessed with shoes. And so I think sneakers, making something like that, that'd be so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really dope because you can't really do a print demand for sneakers. I
Yeah.
think actually you could, but not for
Not
sustainable
sustainable
sneakers.
ones. Yeah.
You would actually have to go to like a manufacturer, and
Hmm.
that can be very, very expensive.
Right.
I remember a while back I tried to, like, as an experiment, kind of make these cones, or like training cones, but a different shape,
Hmm.
and they're really small, right? And I was like, hey, this is not gonna be expensive. It's really small, but the actual mold, just the mold to create those shapes, was like $15,000,
Wow.
and that didn't even account for, like, okay, a minimum order quantity of 100. So you need obviously a large amount of capital just to get
Yeah.
started, because imagine creating imagine creating a shoe. There's a lot more elements to it, and
Definitely.
it's gonna be a lot more expensive. You basically need a lot more capital unless you have investors, to help you out.
Yeah.
That's why, like, going back to Kickstarter, a lot of people use Kickstarter to kind of crowdfund their projects, and it's through that they can really blow up, or
Hmm.
help blow up their brand. Is that something that you kind of like looked into as well?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I really did want to start a Kickstarter. Like a couple months ago, I was really thinking about like trying to do that by the end of the year. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but like I really don't think that there's any harm in trying, and you can always try again in a way. But yeah, I definitely want to keep learning how to do a proper Kickstarter campaign, because I do think that if you can really get that up and rolling, like I'm sure we could exceed the maximum goal like pretty quickly, as long as there's a lot of eyes on us. And I think that Kickstarter is a really big way of like rocketing your brand up. I think that would
For
be great.
sure.
Yeah.
And I think, like, within like our generation, more specifically Gen Z, they're really for sustainability, and that's really, like, I think, your main target audience.
Right.
And I think a lot of those people, a lot of Gen Z, like, they do use what is it, Indiegogo and Kickstarter.
Hmm.
Indiegogo is another crowdfunding website. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a cool website, and I feel like with that, you need to know a lot about like marketing and branding, because sometimes
Yeah.
those pages look so impressive and it's just crazy. Um, Besides making like the TikTok videos, what's like a challenge that you have to kind of promote uh, like your products and brand?
Hmm. Yeah. So I think honestly, I think we've been putting a little bit too much focus on TikTok right now, because it's like, we've been seeing growth from it, but we're trying to find some new ways that we can expand. Uh, but it is hard because we don't really know too much about Facebook ads and all that.
Hmm.
But I really do think that right now we're working with one of our friends. He's like semi TikTok famous. He's going to help us out with this new drop. And so I think that if that does well, we will see how that goes, and just like kind of get more into the influencer marketing aspects of it. Because I think that, everybody who we're trying to target is like more the younger side, because streetwear doesn't really appeal to many adults, you know what I mean? But I feel like anywhere between Gen Z and like millennial area, that's really kind of our target audience. So we're trying to, expand in different ways because, everybody uses Instagram, and Instagram, if you have like a proper foundational following, that can kind of set you up for success. So I think that's what we're trying to aim for right now.
Yeah, I mean, influencer is so powerful. It only takes that one person to really help you kind of blow up. But besides TikTok and Instagram, you guys also have a YouTube channel, right?
Well, we just started. We haven't posted any videos yet, but we are trying to, get into that route too.
Yeah, YouTube is definitely a lot more difficult compared to TikTok because, TikTok is like, you film it there, but you also edit it right there. Whereas like for YouTube, you kind of have to use like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere, film it in good quality maybe, and then edit it. So it's definitely a longer process.
Definitely.
Especially to grow as well. But I think if you have more like social media platforms and you grow a following on each one, it can really just expand your brand exposure basically, not just focusing on one because, everyone was scared that TikTok was going to go away. Now we all got the news that it's staying and people can just chill. But I think it's still important to, I mean, you can say Instagram is still the strongest platform right now in terms of promoting your brand. When you go on Instagram now, literally all you see is just like brand and sponsored posts. And like you said, that's how you use Facebook ads. I know TikTok's, they have their own ads manager, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like they have their own way to like make ads. But I spoke with the one guy, Gerardo Perez, he's into marketing. And he said like, yeah, even though TikTok has it, it's not as strong as Facebook ads because with Facebook ads, you can definitely target like who you want specifically, right? Like literally like the age, their interest, where they're from, what state. And so it's a lot more specific. Whereas for TikTok, you can't do that. It's going to be extremely more challenging. So it's good to learn that at some point, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, we're trying to, get into that. We did see the TikToks like starting to do those ads, and I mean it's interesting. I don't know how like he was saying like how targeted it can get. I feel like TikTok still has a long way to go for that, but honestly, I do feel like if TikTok can start getting those advertisement, managers right, it could be very powerful.
And from the cash flow that you make from your business, do you reinvest it all like back in?
Yeah, everything's right back into the company.
Yeah. And did you go? Some people, this is like a huge debate. People say, hey, like you shouldn't start an LLC right away. You should only start an LLC once you kind of see that your business is rolling in, that it's doing well, then you can establish it. Because if you make the LLC first and then your business doesn't do well for the next 6 months, 12 months, then you kind of wasted some time and money. But then that's considering the fact that you're only looking for the short-term like money. Did you kind of take that route? Like, did you kind of start an LLC right away, or are you going to wait until you have more cash flow to kind of really establish it?
Yeah, so we actually did start an LLC like straight off the bat. And that did stem from my idea of it being a long-term thing because, it was kind of hard to really justify not starting an LLC right now, but getting all the other things that are necessary for running a business. Because some people do think that you can just run a business without anything. And like, although it may be a little bit true that like you can just run it as a sole proprietorship, you still need the tax IDs. You still need all that kind of stuff to collect sales taxes if you're selling in Texas. And so I was just like, why just pick and choose from this? Why not just set everything up right now so that we don't have to, worry about that in the long run. And so that did take a little bit of investing into it. But I really do think that was a good move on our part, running that straight off the bat. Yeah.
For sure. I remember you mentioned that, once you have a sustainable product, you have your generic colors, brown, white, it's not too colorful. In terms of like the actual design, because you said you use water-based coloring to have the print. What's kind of like the design aspect or process that you use to make your shirts?
Yeah. So, I mean, my sister is like a artist. So she just graduated from UT with a studio art major. And so the next collection is actually inspired by one of her pieces that she made a couple years ago, which is a really cool thing because, she's got that whole artistic mindset and, bringing it into the business aspect is really cool. But honestly, the designs that we have in store for the coming future are just been designs that I've thought of in the past, like, oh, that would look cool on a t-shirt, that would look cool on like a hoodie, stuff like that. So, and just like throwing in some color, throwing in some, meaning behind the words. So this next collection is called Imagine the World Without Hate. And so it kind of really does go along with our brand, Another Good Human, kind of hitting that love aspect and the unity and peace. And so I think it's a really good, representation of what like my creative side is, and bringing in like some help like from my sister and all that.
Yeah, I think if you have, an artistic mindset, that's definitely going to help. Of course, anyone can use Canva, Adobe, Photoshop, or Illustrator, but just having that extra dimension, can really
Right.
kind of captivate your audience and make your shirts like that much better,
Yeah.
But so is this still like really difficult to have like, say, blue shirts or like green, like not green, but blue, purple shirts, unless you tie dye them, but, or what?
Yeah. So like, are you like talking about the actual color of the shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So our supplier does have some several options that we can choose from. But yeah, it is still limited because, we don't own a production facility. We can't like truly like manufacture them by ourselves. Once we start getting into the bigger numbers, though, we will definitely be able to, get into the higher order quantities and customization a little bit better. And with that will come even more sustainable aspects to our shirts, which is really cool. So hopefully once we're able to get into those big ones, we'll be able to, throw in whatever kind of color we want. But for right now, we are limited to, I mean, it's a good amount. I wouldn't say that it's just like brown and white, all that stuff. It's definitely like blues, there's greens, there's some purples,
Mhm.
there's like oranges, all that cool stuff. But we haven't really had any designs yet to go along with those, but we are definitely looking into them.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good idea. I remember I read this one story, and it was this lady. I think they were like towels, right? And back in
Mm-hmm.
the day, I think it was in the 90s or 80s, these towels, they only came in three colors, and it was beige, white, and like, I think it was just beige and white. And what she did was like, hey, I'm going to make these cool tie-dye designs, or actually add different colors to these towels and just sell it off. Because
Mm-hmm.
she got these towels in like Chinatown, I think in New York or in Boston, and they're like really cheap. And then she just tie-dyed them, and they had different colors. No one ever seen, believe it or not, at that time, during that time, like a purple towel. And
Mm-hmm.
she just added a different color. And you might think, like, what's the difference? There's no real difference. Like, that kind of reminded me of like the SpongeBob episode when SpongeBob had like green Krabby Patties, blue Krabby Patties, and
Yeah, yeah,
everyone went
yeah.
crazy. Everyone went crazy. But that's the thing about like marketing and branding. Like, once you add a different category, a different segment, even if it's like a sustainable shirt and you're limited to several options, once you had that other option of adding your blues, reds, whatever it is, you know, the everyday consumer, or I guess marketer, might be like, hey, this is just a minute difference. But in reality, customers, they love that difference. And it can,
Right.
once you create a new category or do something new, people are going to want to buy it or hop
Definitely.
on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think people do love like honestly, I think the reason that sustainability, like, sustainable clothing in general is more like the beige nude is like, once people want it to be like comfortable in a way. And I think that one way we can differentiate ourselves is to make it colorful rather than like the comfortable aspect is still there, but like it's something that pops. It's something that like, catches your attention straight off the bat. So I think that's one thing that we're definitely looking into. So yeah.
hmm and I want to mention this, like the reason why I thought it was really cool that you integrated streetwear is because, when you look at Tesla, in the very like the beginning, and it was like dumb expensive to buy these cars, the electric vehicles initially. It was more of like a status symbol, like, hey, I got a nice electric vehicle car. Of course, during that time, it wasn't the best, but it was more of like a status symbol, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like a lot of these people, yeah, they want to look cool, and that kind of reminds me of like your brand because people want to wear the shirt, as a status symbol too, to kind of represent, hey, I'm supporting Mother Nature here, trying to
Right.
be sustainable. And even though like a Tesla is a completely different product, it's a vehicle, you're a streetwear brand, it still mentions that same kind of message, that same meaning, because everyone kind of will have like a kind of a status symbol of what
Yeah.
they drive, what they wear. And I think it's important to kind of, enhance that message, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like I like what you said. Like, although they are different kind of things, Tesla and our streetwear brand, I think it's really cool to, when you hear someone drives a Tesla, oh, they care about the environment, right? And that's kind of the same thing we want. When you hear someone wearing Another Good Human, you want them to be like, oh, that person cares about the environment. They care about ethical clothing and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's the ultimate goal. And Tesla is moving to Austin, so I hope to go see Elon. Yeah, I think so. They're building it. I think it's like 20 minutes or so away from the like downtown area. So it's gonna be big. I hope to go see Elon Musk and have him rep one of our shirts one day. That'd be so live.
Wait. So are they extending? I think I didn't watch the Battery Day, but did he announce it there?
I didn't watch it either, but I'm pretty sure they're building like another headquarters here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really dope.
Like Austin's like, I remember like 4 or 5 years back, I like, no disrespect to Austin, but I didn't know about it at all.
Yeah,
Definitely. Now there's so many tech companies going there, and it's like the modern or the new Silicon Valley of the United States. Literally everyone's going there. Everyone talks about it. It's beautiful food, the music culture. And now you have all these tech startups going there. So it's kind of like the hub now, the spot to be in.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Now with Tesla moving in, like, gonna have a lot more people coming in too. So yeah, I think Austin's it just keeps growing and growing. And same thing with the neighboring cities too, with like, San Antonio and Houston and Dallas. Like, I guess Texas is on the map. Like,
it's crazy.
So yeah, Austin, I don't want to take too much of your time. So if people, want to learn more about Another Good Human, know more about you, find TikTok, your TikTok page, where can they find you?
So yeah, we have at Another Good Human on all social media platforms, and then you can find us at www.anothergoodhuman.com for our website. And yeah, stay tuned for the next drop this Friday. It's gonna be lit. But yeah, that's it.
Word. So, and you said you're more active on TikTok, right? Just provide context.
TikTok and Instagram are our main two.
All right, cool. And so you're gonna drop, you said, on your next collection on Friday?
Yep, collection number 2 on Friday. It's gonna be live.
Oh, they're gonna be live?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if it's just live as in live.
Oh, yeah. I thought I meant like TikTok live. You're gonna show it there. Okay.
But we will get on TikTok live. I'm sure of it. That would be cool too.
All right. No, that'll be dope, man, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
All right. So Austin, I really do appreciate you being on the show. And yeah, I'll definitely notify you once the podcast is uploaded and live, or on Apple and Spotify and whatnot.
Cool. Sounds good, man.
All right, man. Thanks. So have a good one, right?